Remember those two scrap Hoover Seniors sent to me by our good friends at ManchesterVacs? Well, the one that remains is here, ready to be tested, ready to be shown off. We've also got a motor to test as well. So, let's have a look at what we have ended up with. And it's a little bit of a Frankenvac, but it's a very pretty Frankenvac indeed. Let's have a look. Yes, hello my vacuum cleaner chums, how are you today? This is now a Hoover Senior 652C or A, because it's one of those weird ones. There's a couple of these around. I got one, you've seen the one on my channel before, but what we have is stamped into the chassis 652C, but it has, and it is there, it's a little bit faded, a 652A ratings plate, so who knows where it came from, which we'll just refer to as a 652A because that's what it is. And you also need to ignore the handle because the handle isn't going with this. Stuart's got a handle, I've just put this on so I could use it, really. So what have we got? Well, we'll start off here because obviously we need to take the cable off. It has a very nice, and it is an original cable because it has the riveted on rings that connect it to the machine. Oh, very nice textured cable, ribbed for his pleasure. I found a plug after the nice MK got smashed in the post. The bag is very, very nice. Came up an absolute treat. What didn't come up so well was the seal that goes around the flange, so I have improvised with some silicone, and once it's clamped in it should provide an adequate seal. We need to check that, otherwise I need to just shave a little bit down depending on what happens, but worry about that in a minute. Let's have a look at the actual good bit of the machine. Now, if you remember back to the before video, I obviously got two machines. One was a 6525C and the other was this. And this is that hood from the one, no, sorry, this is the chassis from the one with the smashed hood. This is the hood from the good one. It polished up very, very nicely indeed. This is the chassis, and look at the condition of its original paintwork, bar a couple of little scuffs and scratches. This is the original, I think it's hop green or jonquil green paintwork. Underneath it came up spotless. This is just with a wash and a polish. It really is very, very good indeed. The wheels, well obviously the wheels were all bent, so I bought a scrap machine and replaced it with its entire bottom end. Had to drill a hole for the spring because I then had to go through the rigmarole of converting a 2-height chassis into a 4-height chassis, and it works fairly well. I've had to put a spacer piece on the axle there because the tool converter is ever so slightly different, so that stops the axle from bobbing around too much. And apart from that, it all works very well indeed. The lens is amazing, literally as good as new, which is excellent really. And it's had from 2.5 machines the best bits of every single one put onto here. Brush roll has been repainted, brand new bearings, the motor has been stripped, when the bearings cleaned. It is superb and it should work well, but first we need to fit an inner bag to this outer. How are we going to do that? Well, I did have one again. Our good old friend Mr. Thebo. I shall go and do that now and come back when it's on. And there we go. Bit fiddly as usual, but you see me do enough of these to know that this is the way to go on any bagged older Hoover. Not so much about the HEPA flow qualities of the bag, I've never fully cared about that, but certainly in terms of keeping the outer very rare cloth bag clean, it's the only thing to do really. So we shall put this on. There we go, clip it on, it's a bit stiff because of the sealant. Fit the bag on. I may as well leave you there. As I come over to here, plug her in. Oh, and press the button. It works as good as new, as does, if I turn my lights off and turn the light off on my camera that's just come on, the headlight. Quite difficult to push on that carpet. Goes to show how well it works. So this is all that needs to be said about this. It is a very clean, very tidy, very new, as good as new mechanically, Hoover Senior 652A. What we've now got to do is test this, which is the motor from the other ones. This is what a Hoover Senior motor looks like, all washed, all polished. So we just need to fit a cable to those two terminals there. This is the speed control switch which is needed to complete a circuit. Here is the power switch which is needed to turn it on and off. I could have bridged it, but this is going to Italy. There's an Italian chap that posted up on the ManchesterVacs forum. I can't even spin that. It's very heavy, it bobs around. Who wanted a 240 volt motor for one of these that he has. Obviously Italy is 240 volts and his was 110, so I've included the switch and the speed control because I'm not entirely sure if 110 volt, you know, if these are the same part across the voltages. I don't want to post it all the way out to Italy and it's not. So I'm going to pop this away, get this wired up and we'll turn it on. Here we go. I have actually the cable rewind from the spare reel from my Hoover Lifetime. So there we go. Now this is sat in my toolbox because I don't want it to jump and break. Now this could go one of two ways. It could either be absolutely fine or it's going to jump up and cause carnage. Not entirely sure yet. I also don't know if it is on at the switch. So we shall find out by plugging it in and noting that nothing happens. So, let's try again. Beautiful! That little noise on wind down isn't too worrying because normally it's got the belt providing tension, which will obviously stop that completely. So, make sure we haven't picked up any tools. I've got a little 240 volt light bulb because I've got loads, and again I don't like the idea of Maisie having to scam a UK eBay for one and then, you know, having to pay £50,000 postage for it over to Italy. So I'll stick one in the box. So we'll screw that back up. This is ready to go. I'll ask you to tell it obviously live is the bottom one. neutral is the top. Oh dear, and we have transformed a box of scrap into a very nice, it has patina, it's called patina. You could strip this right back and repaint it and it would look very nice, but it would be a lot of work for not much gain. This tells a story, this has seen careful use. It's not being abused really. This motor obviously works fine, we'll put that next to it because it's all now going to go into a box and go up to Manchester, and hopefully we will see a few more videos of it with the other vintage machines in their collection on YouTube soon. Obviously that won't be on my channel, that will be on their channel, the ManchesterVacs channel. Do go and have a look and subscribe and like their videos, dislike them if you don't like them. Us creators don't know if what we've done is any good until you dislike it. I get away with it because you're all lovely. And you will tell me in the comments if I mess up, and that's fine. But, you know, that's what the like and dislike button is for. They have a lot of machines, obviously, well, you know they have a lot of machines because they've been through these horrible hands first. I've been working on the car at the weekend. That's what happens when you try and change an alternator on a Mazda 5. So, all done. The next time we shall see this, it will be in Manchester. And I shall see you very soon, obviously, because we will have another video very shortly. I don't know what it is yet. I never know. We get stuff in, we do stuff, and it goes out again, and we all get to see it. That is the beauty of what I do. I love it. Always like showing stuff off. When I was a kid, I used to love just looking at cleaners, listening to them. And now I get to hold them in my hands and show you all. So for me, and this very shiny, it's very shiny, there's a couple of little scratches, but again, short of spending a weekend wet sanding it through 19 different grades and then buffing it back up, it's not all I can do, and I didn't fancy doing that because it's winter and I can't do it outside. So here it is, that is what it does. A vacuum cleaner, ladies and gentlemen. Don't see many of those nowadays. So, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you soon. Bye bye.